Hiya, it's Monday's Talking Reds. I'm Josh Sexton, joined today by Gareth Roberts. Gareth, big win yesterday, obviously, and there's been a bit of reaction to it from some of the players and the manager and stuff. Start off with Jordan Henderson, who was obviously, much criticised for being on the team sheet for being selected for the game, as you can always be criticised for that. He said, "I was disappointed with the goal we conceded because I gave the ball away in a sloppy area. I was delighted to react in the right way and managed to get on the score sheet." It's funny watching the goal back, actually, because it's a really well taken goal, and it's probably not one that you sort of associate with Henderson. He hits it into the floor. I think of it as a proper striker's finish across goal, but I thought, after probably a sloppy start to the game, he actually played really well in the end, Henderson.
Come into it, didn't he? I think with the goal, it's maybe not the cleanest of strikes, but I think it's massively to his credit that he follows it in, because everyone's appealing for the penalty on Firmino, and he's one of the few players that carries on going, and I think that's sort of the mark of the man. And in that interview, I've seen that interview, and like by his own admission, it wasn't his greatest game, but it was just the will. It was just the fact that he kept on going, kept on running, kept on getting stuck in. And look, I personally think he's going through a little bit of a dip in his form at the moment. Towards the end of last season, I thought he was brilliant, and particularly when he started getting further forward, I thought he was a bit in his shell against Man United. He was better than that yesterday. But yeah, I mean, by his own admission, a few things went wrong. That you could say the same for Dejan Lovren, and that's another debate. We had it yesterday on the post-match pint. Ended up with Jay McKenna calling Neil a gobshite at the end, which I really enjoyed. But yeah, I mean, I think the sort of both Liverpool goals yesterday are a mark of why we won it. So we play well, and we create loads of stuff. Their keeper has an absolute worldie, but we just keep on going and believe that we can win the game, and then do win the game. Like I say, Henderson follows that in. He's got that will to follow that in. Mane as well. He's scrapping away and he's battling away and he's in people's faces and his arms are there and he must be a nightmare to defend against. And then all of a sudden it's a penalty. And again, it's that will, it's that want to win it. And his interview was good as well. He was with Henderson when Henderson was saying that, and he was quite funny. They were saying is it a big win? And he's like, all wins are big. But you can see it in the way he's answering the question. Like, they know how good they are. They know they've got a chance of winning this league, and they're not letting that chance go for anyone. It's brilliant. Absolutely.
And you mentioned Lovren there, and he was talking about the atmosphere yesterday, and I think sometimes when the team comes out, there's a bit of a reaction on the internet, and I think you can get caught up in what's going on the internet, and maybe you take it from your mood that you see when the team sheet comes out and things like that into Anfield. But I often forget how different place they are, because Lovren and Henderson start yesterday. Most people on the internet probably wouldn't have wanted them to start, but then you get in the ground, and as Lovren saying, the atmosphere was just absolutely brilliant throughout. We go a goal down, and it's sometimes in those sort of scenarios the atmosphere might start to get a bit low. City won yesterday, Chelsea are creeping up on us as well, but it was just complete defiance, wasn't it? It was like, we know we're going to win this game, we know we deserve to win it.
Yeah, it was really good. 47 seconds and we're 1-0 down to an absolute fluke of a goal, and it wasn't like, fuck, what the fuck. It was, nah, we're all right, we're sound, and the crowd kept it up all the way through. Really made me laugh this morning. I was reading through the national reports of the game and all that, and I was reading the one in the Times, and in the comments section at the bottom there was some fella having a little rant about what happened to Scousers, what happened to Liverpool when they were nice people and all this, booing Tottenham all the way through the game virtually. It's not on that. Nah, it is on. It's fucking boss, mate. It's fucking boss. Let's do it every week. Let's make all those people that turn up at Anfield trying to win football games feel like pricks and make mistakes. That's what we're here for. And if you don't like it, mate.
There was a point, wasn't there, where I was sort of stood in the ground, like stood on the cop, and when we're doing like the proper loud booing and the whistling, it reminded me of the Napoli away game. I don't know if you watched that on telly, but there was a point when I think it was just after they went 2-0 up, where like you couldn't hear anything, because all you could hear, like the commentary couldn't even speak, because it was just booing and whistling, and that was what it was like in the ground yesterday. At one point it was just like, I literally can't hear myself think because it's so loud.
Yeah, it was fucking great. It was boss, and like I like the way that, look, Tottenham are on a bad run and all the rest of them, we know that, but equally they've got good players. You saw that in flashes yesterday, Son in particular. And if you're doing all that, it can't help them, can it? They're not settling. Also, it lifts your players. Klopp talked about afterwards how good the pressing was yesterday, how good the determination was. You get lifted by that. You get lifted by the crowd. And I thought it was fantastic, and I like the way, like, I like to think it did get to Tottenham as well, because they resorted to some sort of, you know, real Sunday League defending at times, like absolutely hoofing it out of the ground and stuff like that, and just like cart horse defending and trying to like sort of waste time after like, you know, after 47 seconds, if you like, and standing over the ball all the time and that kind of stuff. And my only disappointment from yesterday really is that we didn't volley the ball at them. You know, every time they're standing over free kicks, just fucking volley it at them. Try and get them booked. Try and get them in the bollocks with the ball as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And as Robert mentioned before, there was a great post-match pint recorded after the game yesterday. So here's a little clip from that.
Another one that I'm sure you were onto as well, but I just loved today was, you know, you just have those moments when you're at the match and you just think, I really wouldn't want to play football against Sadio Mane because he's just a pain in the arse. Yeah. It's like, you know, I
don't know, I haven't seen a penalty yet, but I don't know how he got in front of the man. But like, where have you go away?
Yeah. Exactly that. Running. Exactly that. It's like, you know, like you think you might have a little bit of time. Next minute there's this fella and he's all over it. This fella.
The thing is, his arms and his body's really alehouse. And his legs are the best footballer in Europe. Yeah. So he's got these arms and he's like this, he's like all over your ear, but suddenly he's like megged you 3 times and megged your mate and he's carrying it away. And he's sort of got you on his back like this. But he looks small, so you're thinking, right, I'll just push him off the ball in, and he's just stuck his body in front. It's like, get out the way, just do something. And he just stops. He's really good at it, and it's incredible. There's a thing though with our, and it is why the 3 works, because all of them can offer that, where they occupy defenders. Then when they get the ball, they occupy 2 defenders, and it creates space for people, and it makes a massive difference having all 3 of them today. Look at that, you know, compared to Old Trafford. That idea that if Mane's getting occupied like that, they've got to think that the switch can come to Salah. They've got to be worried about that other player in behind. Yeah. And that bothers Spurs today. Certainly second half, Spurs just didn't know how to defend.
Yeah, that was the post-match part. I know a few of you here on YouTube are wondering where that's gone. We still do record it. It's just on our app, so make sure you download that. There's been a bit of reaction from the game, from the manager as well, Gareth, and there was one point in the game yesterday where I'll probably mark it as one of my lowest points at Anfield this season, where Virgil goes down. Virgil goes down in Tottenham's box, and Anfield felt deathly silent. And luckily, Klopp says it's not a big deal. He's just got a dead leg, but that was a pretty awful moment, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, especially when like it seems like some of the other centre halves are struggling at the moment as well. I mean, we mentioned before sort of Dejan's troubles yesterday, and he probably does 70 or 80% of things right across the course of the 90. It's just that, you know, you really notice it when he does cock up. I mean, you know, he's not great on the chance that Son has where he hits the bar. And so, yeah, with that in mind, you know, and with the fact that Matip's out and Gomez, for whatever reason, is behind Lovren at the moment, which, you know, ordinarily you would be like, well, why? But it must be either fitness or how he's playing in training. But yeah, to lose Virgil would just be an absolute nightmare. I actually think he's a little bit off compared to what he has been, and he's not at his very imperious best, but, you know, even when he's a little bit off, you want him there 100%. So yeah, it was a little bit of a, you know, heart in the mouth moment and all that, but no, fingers crossed he's all right. He'll be getting a rest in the week anyway, won't he? Because I think you're having a game on Wednesday night.
I think there's a chance. I'll take my shinnies to Anfield just in case. But Salah goes off injured as well. It's that ankle injury again from the charge we tackle in the Leicester game the other week, and Klopp sort of says it again. It's not a big issue, but it does make you worry a bit, because, you know, you saw how much we missed Salah in that game at United, and you know, you'd be happy for him to miss the Arsenal game and maybe get the rest there. But Villa away, you want him to be going again, don't you?
Yeah, you want him for that. And by the sounds of what Klopp said afterwards, it sounds like he'd be all right. But I think it's worth remembering as well that, you know, I think Virgil touched on it last season at one point where, you know, they play through injuries all the time. You know, and I remember, I think it was Torres was playing with a broken collarbone for a while, and, you know, you remember the stuff with Stevie. He was having like fucking epidurals to get himself out on the pitch. It was absolute madness. So they have all kinds of injections. They play through pain all the time. They have problems as well. You know, like I've just read Milner's new book, which is out this week. And there's a bit in there where he talks about, he's got all kinds of like special plates in his boots and stuff which protect him from like some kind of issue he's had with his foot and things like that. So, you know, all these pros that have been playing for years on end, they've all got niggles and knocks and problems with them and stuff like that, and it just has to be managed. And I think, you know, it's fair to say that Liverpool are very good at that, because you look at the appearances of the front 3 over the last 2-3 seasons or whatever it is now, you know, they're always at the top. So you know, we're getting them on the pitch more often than not, so we can't really complain.
Yeah, and as I mentioned there, hopefully Mo and Virgil will be back for Aston Villa away. But speaking of away games, Robbo, the question from the last Talking Reds, which we've been asking for every day now, was what's your favourite away kit, favourite Liverpool away kit?
So it's Monday morning and I'm not like in a big thinking mood just yet. Like I feel like I've just got out of bed. So the first one that came to mind was yellow, umbro, stripes, that kind of things, pinstripes down it. That was quality, but that was just one of the first away kits that I remember running around in it. Just picture like Paul Walsh in it for some reason. And then on a similar vein, I loved TT Kamara. I might be one of the only ones who does it, but I just thought he was a boss mad bastard. And having a boss mad bastard is an underrated thing, like, because you know he just did mad things, scored mad goals, did mad tricks, fell out with Houllier and got off, and then ended up being whatever he is these days, some mad like sports minister or something. But like, so there's a Reebok kit, a green one with like a collar. Yeah, I like that one. That was decent.
That's the first kit I ever had. I had Michael Owen on the back of that. Yeah, that was the treble season. I think it was one of the kits from the treble season.
I'm not sure.
Maybe the season before, yeah.
But that one was good. Is that yours then as well?
No, so that would have been the first kit I got, but I reckon my favourite one's the 08-09 one, the grey one, which would be United 4-1. And it's funny that you say, you remember TT Kamara being that, because I think it's always the mad players you remember being in the kit. So in this one, I remember Fabio Aurelio being the one in the kit because he scores obviously the free kick at Old Trafford. But just whenever that picture comes to my mind, I just picture him celebrating that goal at Old Trafford.
DOS.
Yeah, or maybe DOS.
The DOS wore that as well, didn't he? DOS the boss. The man who, chipping Man United keepers, and he was absolutely shite.
Great days. This is Talking Reds, obviously, which you're watching now. Most of you will be watching it on YouTube, but it's also available on our app. If you download that, you get 250 free tokens to spend and listen to some of our premium content as well, so make sure you get on that. But that has been Talking Reds for Monday. Nice one, Robbo. Up the Reds.